That slap. JazDog, real talent. Thank you.
So, JazDog, generally speaking, who are you and what do you do?
I'm just a 19-year-old college student with a passion for making music, which I've been doing ever since middle school.
Is music your current major?
Right now, I'm just doing general studies because I plan on transferring to a better college eventually. But once I do transfer, I plan on majoring in music composition for media.
How did you start making music when you were in middle school?
In middle school, I didn't have all that many friends, so for lunch, I would sit alone on a bench outside the cafeteria. Since we had school laptops, I would go to this free site called soundtrap.com, and that's where I first started making music. It was really simple stuff. I would just browse through the loops that they had and arrange them into songs. It was super basic, but I think starting out small like this really helped me build a sense of song structure that I still use to this day. Like one technique that I use is 1-2-1-3, which is basically a series of patterns for basic song structure. I can show you one of the songs I made way back in middle school. I went by Scorch back then.
That was it. What made you want to get into making music to begin with?
Oddly enough, I was watching a Vsauce video that showed off this website called beatbox.co, which is an entirely separate bag of worms.
So what was it that made you want to try music after seeing that Vsauce video? What was it about in showing beatbox that hooked you?
Honestly, I was just bored at the time, and I played around with beatbox making most likely garbage music lol. But what really hooked me with beatbox was its Discord community, which was an entire arc of my life that really made me the musician I am today.
How long after starting to play around with music websites did you go to the Discord?
I can't remember exactly, but if I had to guess, I would say maybe a month or two.
What happened after you joined it that kicked off your music career?
Basically, the Discord server was by musicians for musicians. It featured a ton of resources for improving musically, one of which was a submission sheet, in which you would submit your songs to be judged and critiqued by 4 judges. This made the entire learning process a lot more fun and rewarding because if you manage to get a good score on the submission sheet, you get a cool badge in the form of a Discord role. So I made it my goal to get as many of these badges as possible, and I eventually got at least one perfect 10 out of 10 score in each of the different categories, because with beatbox there were community-made modded versions. It eventually got to the point that since I was a community regular, I became a judge myself, which was hard work but very satisfying since I got to help out new musicians just starting out. The thing about the Discord server is that it was both a blessing and a curse, the curse being that while it helped me improve my craft, it also had a small negative effect on my mental health. Since I was constantly improving 24/7, something I was also doing was comparing myself to my peers' work, which oftentimes made me feel jealous or envious.
Even now, I see music being made in full studio and I see it as better than what I'm currently doing. It can sometimes bring me down. It's one of the reasons I stopped participating in the community and moved on to other things.
Don't get me wrong, though I owe my entire music career to that server, and the people there are super kind and helpful.
How old were you by the time you were winning the 10 out of 10 submissions and being recognized as a judge?
16 or 17, I think.
And just for comparison, how old were you when you first started messing around with different music websites?
I was probably around 12, maybe 13, 14.
What were some of your inspirations? Like, what got you into making the genre of music you create?
Chiptune has always been my main thing, and the 2 musicians who I really started getting into were Dubwood and Zabwood. It was only until later that I really started studying the work of Toby Fox and realized that his style was truly my main inspiration.
Are you able to explain what it is about chiptune that draws you in as a creator?
I think part of it is the simplicity of the tone combined with the complexity of the notes. If I were to do my crazy solos on a saxophone or something, I don't think it would have as cool as a feeling. But with chiptune, since the sound is just basic with patterns like a square or triangle, I feel like it sounds way better when I make crazy impossible to play stuff.
Do you play any physical instruments as well as create music digitally?
I used to play guitar and drums, but I've lost interest in them and now focus all my music energy on composing and placing notes using my mouse.
With the name Scorch and JazDog, what's the backstory to where those names had come from? Do you have any other or alt accounts?
Both names actually have a really simple and underwhelming story. I was in middle school and I wanted to have a cool musician name. I first came up with JazDog, which is a shortened variation of my first ever username, which was Jason Big Dog. Jason Big Dog was my name because my real name is Jason, and I had a big stuffed animal, which I named Big Doggy. This was when I was like 9 years old. Anyway, Jason Big Dog didn't really sound like a cool name to me, so I came up with JazDog. A little bit later, I switched to Scorch, but then I switched back to JazDog.
With your creativity, I gotta ask, do you have a ADHD or synesthesia or anything else like that?
Oh yeah, I have ADHD. LOL. It's super strange. Sometimes I will just get an instant idea in my head and I know exactly what to do. It's such a weird feeling because even though it's something I would totally think of myself, sometimes it feels like someone else put an idea in my head just because of how sudden some things are. And lots of times, I'll be thinking of an idea and then get a totally different idea afterward. I got the idea when I was thinking of making a meme using this image. I thought of making a high joke by photoshopping him into a toastery image, but then seemingly at random I just thought of Lotar God, etch a sketch, and I 100% switched gears to make that instead.
Hey, etch. Draw. Go!
It's strange cause the picture of Hinkle and the movie Toy Story is so far from being connected at all.
Thank you so much for your time, JazDog.
Okay, mod ban one that disagrees with me.
We're back at it.
Okay, mod ban one that disagrees with me.
Oh yeah, I now can say that I want to kill myself. Oh yeah, I now can say that I want to kill myself. Oh yeah, I now can say that I love man. Oh yeah, I now can say that I love lost. Oh yeah, I now can say that I want to kill myself. Oh yeah, I now can say that I want to kill myself. Oh yeah, I now can say that I love man. Oh yeah, I now can say that I love lost.